and welcome to another chapter of Time to Relax. My name is Alice, and today we're going to take a gentle journey back to the very beginning of our world. This is the story of how planet Earth was born. This is more than just a story. It's an invitation to slow down, to let go, and to rest. Before we begin, take a moment now to let yourself settle. Wherever you are, lying in bed or resting on the sofa, allow your body to soften. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your jaw relax. Allow your hands to fall gently by your side. And feel the weight of the day begin to drift away. If you'd like, you can close your eyes. There's nothing you need to do, no place you need to be, only here, listening and drifting. And so, with each breath, we step further back in time, billions of years ago, before the mountains, before the seas, before even the sun itself, a time when there was only the vastness of space, silent, infinite, sprinkled with distant stars. This is where our story begins, in the great ocean of the universe, not an ocean of water, but of stars, light, and dust. From this quiet expanse, our home was waiting to be born. Chapter 1. The Cosmic Origins. Before the earth, before the seas, before the mountains, and even before the sun itself, there was only the vastness of space. A silent expanse stretching endlessly, an ocean of darkness sprinkled with distant stars. Some shone faintly, like tiny candles in the void. Others burned with fierce brilliance, their light traveling for billions of years. And some had already reached their end, exploding in great bursts of color and energy, scattering their stardust across the cosmos. It was this stardust, these tiny fragments of long-dead stars, that would one day become our home. The rocks beneath our feet, the oceans that cradle our world, and even the breath that fills our lungs. In the young universe, clouds of gas and dust drifted slowly. They swirled like smoke caught in a gentle breeze. Each tiny particle moved softly, but gravity, that quiet, invisible force, pulled them together, little by little, moment by moment. And so, a vast cloud began to form, the solar nebula, a cradle for new worlds. At its center, gas gathered and pressed tighter, growing hotter, until at last, a star was born, our sun. It blazed into life, sending warmth and light across the darkness. But around it, dust still swirled, countless grains colliding, joining, breaking apart, and then coming together again. Imagine it. Millions upon millions of tiny fragments, all turning slowly in the quiet of space. Each one insignificant alone, but together, they held the promise of planets. This was the beginning of Earth, not yet solid, not yet blue and green, but only a gathering, a whisper of what was to come. From chaos, order began to emerge. From dust, a world was waiting to be born. Chapter 2. The Gathering of Earth. From the swirling dust around the young sun, tiny fragments continued to drift. Each grain, each particle, moving silently, guided only by gravity. When two fragments touched, they clung together. Small pieces became larger ones. Pebbles grew into stones, stones into boulders, and boulders into bodies vast enough to shape their surroundings. This was a slow and patient process, not measured in years or even centuries, but in millions upon millions of years, time beyond our human imagining, again and again. Rock met rock, impact after impact, each collision adding mass, each encounter pulling fragments together, and slowly, very slowly, a new world began to emerge. It was not yet the Earth we know, not yet blue, not yet calm. It was a fiery sphere, its surface glowing with the molten rock, a restless ocean of lava, forever shifting and boiling. The young Earth was restless, constantly struck by new fragments. Each impact sent shockwaves across its surface, melting rock, adding new layers, reshaping the planet again and again. The skies above were filled with dust, a heavy, choking haze blocking out the light of the young sun. Storms raged endlessly, thunder rolled without pause, lightning struck across the skies, illuminating clouds of ash and smoke. And yet, within this chaos, there was a quiet order, a design unfolding slowly. Gravity pulled everything tighter, binding loose fragments into a single whole. The planet grew heavier, denser, and rounder. Deep inside, heat built up. The core of the Earth glowed, a churning ocean of molten iron. This heart of fire would one day give rise to the planet's magnetic field, a shield that protects us even now. Above it, the mantle shifted and boiled, and at the surface, lava spread and cooled, forming the first fragile crust. But the world was still young, still violent, still unsettled. Earth was no longer just dust and stone. It was now a true planet, a newborn world, restless, fiery, and alive with energy. From the quiet gathering of fragments, something vast had emerged, and though it seemed chaotic, this was only the beginning, the foundation for everything to come. Chapter 3. The Birth of the Moon. The young Earth continued to grow, fiery, restless, glowing with molten rock. It spun beneath a storm-filled sky, its surface alive with energy. But Earth was not alone. In the vastness of space, other newborn worlds were forming. Some small, some large, all drifting in their own orbits around the warming glow of the sun. One of these worlds was nearly the size of Mars. It, too, had grown from dust and stone, a wandering body, drawn by the quiet hand of gravity. And so, in the slow unfolding of cosmic time, their paths drew closer, the young Earth and this wandering world, destined to meet. When at last they touched, it was not sudden, not violent in our imagining, but vast and slow. A merging of worlds, their matter blending together. The Earth absorbed much of its visitor, growing heavier, stronger, but not all was taken. From the great cloud of debris, dust and rock circled the Earth. At first, a glowing ring, bright against the darkness of space. For millions of years, these fragments orbited our planet, turning endlessly, drawn together piece by piece. And slowly, gracefully, they formed into a sphere. The moon, at first, it hung closer than it does today, large and luminous in the night sky. Its presence calmed the spinning Earth, slowing its restless rotation. The pull of the moon steadied our planet, giving Earth the rhythm of days and nights, the gentle tilt of seasons, the tides that moved across its oceans. Together, Earth and moon began their eternal dance, two worlds bound forever, turning in silence, in harmony, The Earth now had a companion, a guardian in the sky, and the skies above its fiery surface would never be the same again. Chapter 4: Cooling and Oceans. The young Earth spun slowly beneath the quiet glow of its newborn moon. Its surface, once a fiery sea of molten rock, was beginning to cool. The lava hardened into fragile crusts, cracking and shifting as the planet slowly settled. Smoke and steam rose from volcanic vents, carrying the heat and energy of a restless core. Above, the sky was thick with clouds, formed from gases released by volcanoes. The air was heavy, dense, and full of possibility. And then, the first rain began to fall. At first, gentle, then steady. Soft droplets washing over the young surface. Imagine the sound, not loud, not urgent, but rhythmic and calm, like a lullaby whispered across the land. The rain filled basins and lowlands, collecting in hollows to form the first oceans. They shimmered under the faint light of the young sun, mirroring the slow dance of clouds above. With time, the oceans grew deeper, vast and calm. They carried the heat away from the molten surface, helping the planet to settle, to breathe. Volcanoes continued to rise and fall, but now their eruptions mingled with the cool water, forming new lands, shaping continents yet to come. The air itself began to change. The dense, choking clouds of gas slowly thinned, allowing the first rays of sunlight to reach the oceans. Soft warmth touched the water, rippling across its surface, catching light in gentle patterns. The young Earth was transforming from fire to water, from chaos to calm. A world once restless and glowing was beginning to breathe. And as the oceans spread, so too did the possibility of life. Tiny chemical dances, hidden in the depths, waiting for the moment to begin. Earth was no longer only molten rock. It was now a place of balance, where fire met water, and the first quiet rhythms of a world emerged. Chapter 5: A World of Calm. The oceans now stretched across the surface of the young Earth, shimmering under the soft glow of the sun. Waves moved gently, rising and falling in a slow, steady rhythm, as if the planet itself were breathing. Above, the clouds drifted quietly, casting soft shadows across the waters. The wind whispered across the seas, soft and calm, barely disturbing the surface. Volcanoes, once restless and fiery, now rose only occasionally, their eruptions smaller, gentle, shaping new lands slowly, patiently. Mountains began to form, rising like careful sculptures, their jagged edges softened by rain and wind. The atmosphere, once thick and heavy, had begun to clear. Sunlight filtered through, painting the land and water in warm, golden tones. The planet was still young, still in motion, but a quiet balance had begun to settle. Day and night followed one another with steady rhythm, and the seasons began their gentle cycle. Imagine floating above this early Earth, seeing the vast oceans shimmer, the first clouds drifting lazily across the sky, the new lands standing quietly against the horizon. Every movement was slow, every change deliberate. Even the tiniest ripple on the water, the softest gust of wind, felt like part of a vast, harmonious plan. This was a world of calm, a world where fire had softened into warmth, where chaos had settled into order. The foundations for life were forming, hidden in the oceans, awaiting the right moment to begin. And though it was still young, the earth now carried a quiet promise. A promise of life, growth, and everything that would one day thrive upon its surface. Chapter 6: The Dawn of Life. The oceans now stretched wide and calm, their waters glimmering softly beneath the young sun. Waves lapped quietly at the shores of new continents, their rhythm steady, almost like a heartbeat. Beneath the surface, hidden from sight, the first ingredients of life began to gather. Simple molecules drifting and spinning, meeting one another in gentle collisions, forming tiny structures, delicate and precise. These were the first whispers of life, soft and invisible, yet filled with potential. A slow, patient dance of chemistry and energy, stretching across the vast, quiet oceans. The water itself seemed to encourage their movement. Currents carried the molecules far and wide, spreading them across every corner of the young seas. Light filtered through the surface, touching the water in gentle beams and warming the molecules just enough to encourage new forms to emerge. Time passed, slowly and endlessly. Day followed night. The tides, guided by the moon, rose and fell with steady rhythm. And within the oceans, life's first steps began, so small, so quiet, that the earth itself barely noticed. And yet, these tiny beginnings were full of promise, for one day they would grow, they would evolve, they would fill the oceans, the lands, and the skies. Imagine the waters glimmering under the calm sun. Feel the gentle sway of currents, carrying the first building blocks of life, as though the planet itself were breathing, preparing for what was yet to come. The earth had transformed from stardust to fire to water, and now to life. It was still young, still fragile, yet ready. Ready to become the home for all creatures, and for us, millions of years later. And as the oceans shimmered quietly, and the first life stirred softly beneath the surface, the earth whispered a promise that one day, all that we see, all that we are, would have begun here, in this calm, ancient world. From the quiet stardust of the universe, to the swirling clouds of gas, to the molten fires of a newborn planet, to oceans forming and life beginning its slow, gentle dance. Take a moment now to imagine it all: the vastness of space, the glowing young sun, the calm, shimmering oceans, the earth and moon turning together in silent harmony. Feel the weight of your body, settling, resting, as if you too are part of this ancient world. Know that the same stardust that formed Earth flows through you. You are connected to the oceans, to the mountains, to the sky, to all life that has ever been and all life yet to come. Let your mind drift along with the gentle rhythm of the planet. The waves lapping softly on distant shores, clouds floating quietly across vast skies, the earth itself breathing slowly, peacefully, eternally. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go, only here, only rest, only sleep. And as you drift, may the calm of the earth carry you deeper, deeper into restful, peaceful sleep.